And he was Milo Rodriguez.
I'm the last human being. I got a favor to ask. Don't forget us.
Till the very last second. Till the end.
Somewhere in the ruins of what used to be Earth, a guy named Milo stares into a drone, pouring his heart out. "Don't forget us," he begs. "Don't forget humanity." Then he looks at the strange mark on his hand, and suddenly, we're pulled back to where it all started. It's 2016. The world's already a mess, wars everywhere, poverty at an all-time high, and the system crumbling under its own greed. But no one had any idea what was coming. Back then, Milo was just a wheelchair-bound kid in New York with big dreams of becoming an astrophysicist. Over in Missouri on a quiet little farm, Ricky, a regular guy, was losing signal on his phone, not noticing that a plane is suddenly landing nearby. At that moment, all across the world, machines start failing at the same time. Cell signals are jammed, and planes must land whenever they can, which causes panic in the city. The sky starts fogging over, and suddenly a massive fleet of alien spaceships are blocking out the sun. While the military gets ready and people panic all over the media, citizens begin having weird visions of their deceased loved ones appearing in front of them. Turns out this was all courtesy of Corellin, the voice of an alien race called the Overlords. His message? Simple. We're here to fix everything. No more war, no more hunger, no more suffering. Crazy thing, they actually delivered. Wars stopped overnight. Enemies dropped their weapons and hugged it out. But while most people were blown away, the folks in charge weren't so happy. No wars meant no profits, and that was bad for business. In Missouri, Ricky's neighbors are worried about how they should proceed, but Ricky points out aliens have only been helping so far, so they should sit patiently and wait because it doesn't look like an invasion. Later in the evening, Ricky and his wife Ellie notice that all the appliances inside the house are going haywire. Suddenly, the house starts shaking, so the couple takes their dog and go hide in the cellar. At that moment, a light begins glowing around the house, and a mysterious force removes the screws from the door so the light can reach Ricky. As the house around him begins coming apart, Ricky comes outside and finds a huge drone waiting for him. Only when Ricky agrees to climb aboard does the spacecraft return his house to its proper place. While a giant spaceship appears above the White House, Ricky is taken away by the droid, which suddenly teleports him into the room of Four Seasons Hotel in New York. This brings back memories of when Ricky spent his honeymoon there with his deceased wife, and he realizes it's an illusion. Suddenly, the disembodied voice of Corellin starts talking, and he asks Ricky to be the ambassador between the Overlords and the Earthlings. At first, Ricky freaks out, saying someone like a politician should do this, but Corellin points out they're corrupted, and Ricky earned the trust of his neighborhood in a fair way. Then Corellin gifts Ricky a mysterious gadget without telling him what it is. Meanwhile, in the White House, a mother raises her sick baby toward the spaceship. Soon afterward, government officials and the press shows up at Ricky's farmhouse to cover the first alien abduction. At that moment, the drone drops Ricky and leaves, so government agents quickly surround him and demand to have the gadget, threatening with violence. Ricky refuses, and Ellie comes with a camera to record any possible case of brutality. The agents still keep their guns out, and Ricky has no choice but to hand in the gadget. As they open it, the baby in Washington magically gets healed. Hours later, the same news comes from all over the world. Diseases are slowly disappearing, even the incurable ones. Ricky is invited to the White House to give a speech to the people of Earth, and he introduces himself as the ambassador. However, Ricky soon gets nervous because he can't answer any of the questions reporters have for him, and they don't like it when he says Corellin feels the world is not ready to see him yet. From then on, whenever Corellin needs to talk to Ricky, he picks him up in the drone and shows the hotel illusion. As months pass, the Overlords begin taking care of other problems, like hunger and poverty, using Ricky to be the link between nations and establish better political relationships. Some people still aren't trusting, though, and think the aliens want them to lower their defenses for an invasion. A resistance movement called the Freedom League, funded by media tycoon Hugo, starts gaining followers and spreading doubt and Corellin's patronage, filling the streets with protests. Ricky tries to convince Corellin to show himself to gain people's trust, but he keeps turning him down. Meanwhile, Milo's great intelligence has earned him a full scholarship. He's always watching all the news about the aliens and figuring out how their technology works. Milo comes down the stairs on his own and finds his mother arguing with the dealer outside. The guy takes out a gun and hits Milo's mom, so Milo tries to come to her defense. This causes the dealer to shoot him in the chest. His mother rushes to hug him, but at that moment a light beam appears from the sky. This light kills the dealer in seconds. Then it heals Milo. Not only his wound is gone, now he can walk too. This incident is covered by the media, and Hugo accuses the aliens of playing to be God. In Missouri, Ricky and Ellie have an argument because Ricky has been very absent lately, and Ellie isn't sure if they should get married after all. Suddenly, Ricky hears his dog barking and some noises outside. When he comes out to find out what's going on, he's suddenly knocked out and he disappears. Moments later, Ricky wakes up inside a van to discover he's been kidnapped by the Freedom League. He's taken to a remote base supervised and spends the night inside a cell. The next morning, while Ellie begs the aliens to bring her husband back, Ricky is taken to see Hugo, who wants to take back the power out of the overlord's hands by destroying all the good things they've given humans. What Hugo doesn't know is that Karelin is secretly broadcasting this to the whole world. Ricky obviously refuses to help with such an awful plan, causing Hugo to order his men to kill him. When a bullet is about to hit Ricky, the aliens freeze time around him, interrupting the broadcast. The drone comes to pick Ricky up and he enters the illusion once more, where his dead wife is waiting for him. Ricky almost gives in to the temptation of staying with her, but he reminds himself it's just an illusion and returns to the farm with Ellie. The next day, Ricky argues with Karelin because if the aliens see everything, they should have not let him get kidnapped in the first place. However, Karelin explains it was part of a plan to shame the Freedom League, which is now disbanding. He also says that the first stage is over and proceeds to fire Ricky. Desperate for answers, Ricky takes a picture of the mirror Karelin hides behind before he's taken back to the farm. When he and Ellie looked at it, they both agreed. Yeah, Karelin was smart to stay hidden. Now the world's a strange place. Most people are living in this so-called utopia, but not everyone's on board. Protests keep popping up. And Milo? He's more determined than ever to visit the Overlord's planet and figure out what's really going on. As for Ricky and Ellie, they're trying to move on, planning their wedding and hoping for a normal life. But deep down, everyone knows. The Overlords aren't done yet. So what happens next? That's the real question. For now, all we have is Milo's voice echoing through the ruins. Don't forget us. 10 years later, Milo is a young astrophysicist at the World Federation, having graduated from MIT. Ricky and Ellie, though unable to have children, live happily, dedicating their lives to helping others. On Earth, peace and prosperity reign, thanks to the Overlord's advanced technology, which has eradicated war, hunger, and disease. When Karelin, the Overlord's leader, decides to reveal himself, the world gathers in awe. At a grand stadium event, his spaceship lands, and two children rush forward to greet him. As Karelin steps out, the crowd is stunned. He looks exactly like the devil, with crimson skin, horns, and massive wings. Shock ripples through humanity, but Karelin's calm reassurances ease their fears. Life resumes, and Earth remains a paradise while the Overlords watch from their ship. Yet questions linger. Why do they care so much about humanity? And why does Karelin look like a figure from Earth's darkest myths? For now, Earth thrives, but the future remains a mystery. If you enjoy our videos, don't forget to like, subscribe to Movie Thoughts, and press that bell button so you don't miss the new upcoming videos. Thanks for watching.